Are you ready? Are you excited? And remember, it doesn't matter where you go or where you'll be. Just don't forget to bring your tea. And that's total empowerment and anointing. Back, and we are here to tie the knot between ministry and the marketplace. So we are going to jump right in and get right into the tea for today. Today we have a very special guest, a good friend of mine who I love dearly, that's going to tell us a little bit about herself and her business and her brand on today. We have today Miss Kisha Jamerson of BTM, which stands for Bigger Than Me. So Miss Kisha, to start today's show, tell us a little bit about Bigger Than Me. What inspired you, and what is it that your business actually does?
Okay, the business that I have is Bigger Than Me Business Solutions. What we do, we help other businesses properly form. So we do assistance with the proper paperwork. We have notary services. We are registered agents, and we also have virtual mailbox. And very, very soon, maybe by the time this airs, we will also have co-working space.
Wow. So somebody that was just starting out with their brand new business, you could pretty much get them established from start to production. Is that basically what your company does?
Basically, but I would rather for you come to me at conception, so that way we can start before we start.
Okay. Now, for people that are just starting off with their business, do you also offer maybe like business planning? Because I know that sometimes people have great ideas to start their business. Again, they don't know where to start, and they feel like, oh, I have this great idea. Let's just jump into it and get the ball rolling. But we know as business owners that there's a process and there's our steps, vital steps that have to be taken to actually conceive the idea, put it on a plan,
Yes.
and actually make it happen. So, what part of the process, or does your company actually offer business planning as well?
Well, that's when I say conception is when you even have the thought of starting a business. You may decide that you want to walk dogs, and you may not know if this area will be good for you to walk dogs. So, as far as like business planning, we go over things. We talk about your business idea, not too deep, because I do want your ideas to stay with you. I don't want to take them. I don't want nobody else to overhear it. So, we'll get into it a little bit, and if we feel like it's a good way for you to go. I am a business liaison, so I know plenty of people that do other things. So I do have someone who does business plans. So we can go from there. You'll talk with me. My consultation is actually free. You get a free 30-minute consultation.
We like the free.
Yeah, first time.
First time. First time.
One time,
Anytime
first
after
time.
that, you're gonna have to drop the coins out.
And it's not very much, but my consultation is free. And if I can help you, we go straight into doing what we need to do. And if I can't, I put you in touch with the right people so you can start.
Okay. Now you mentioned about like setting up the business as far as like your LLC and so forth. Are you mainly focused in the state of just Tennessee, or do you help clients, be able to set up their LLCs in different countries? I mean, it's not countries, but different states. Yeah.
Right now, I am in Tennessee since my business is primarily operated out of Tennessee. I just basically do Tennessee. But with that again, and me being a business liaison, I also have someone who does that in Mississippi. So there are times where I have had people come in and we talk about it, and they say, well, Tennessee is on the pricier side to start a business.
Right.
So if they say, well, I feel like I can still operate my business in Mississippi, I tell them, okay, well, I put you in the right direction, and they do get started with this person. There are things to consider, even though Mississippi is a little bit cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee has more resources.
Okay. Resources like what kind of resources are you referring to as far as business startups?
Um, like generally getting started, the paperwork is pretty simple. We have plenty of virtual offices that you can use within this state. Mine is the cheapest.
Okay.
Mine is the most affordable. Excuse me.
Okay.
That's the word that I rather use because cheap does not always mean good quality.
Right.
But we are affordable, and you're gonna always get good quality with us. So as far as you needing a place to co-work, if you don't have an office, Tennessee provides that. Mississippi really does not have a place for that now. I will be filling that void very soon.
Okay.
But Tennessee does have other things, different centers to help new businesses, different banks that are really reaching out in Tennessee trying to help people in at-risk neighborhoods.
Okay.
So Tennessee has a lot of resources to offer new business owners.
That sounds really amazing, and I really love the fact that you, offer your services at a reasonable, price. Because I know that in starting a business, that's usually the biggest headache for most people, or what discourages most people to get started, is because of the costs that are involved, or the things that you may necessarily need that you don't know that you necessarily, like a virtual office or a physical office or a place to meet with other constituents to talk about business or to make other parts of the business actually operate. So you're kind of like a one-stop shop to kind of help everybody get established, getting started, I should say, right?
I guess so. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to make it easier because when I started the journey last year on another business, and I researched a lot of what to do, and I did, and I was doing it and doing it and doing it. But when I came into a hurdle, I started reaching out to people who also, they say they were at another level, but you quickly find out certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So I would reach out to people, and they charge you just to talk to them, $50, $100,
Yeah.
$75, $20, and I was paying it.
Yeah.
But when we get through with these conversations, it's like, oh well, the only other thing I can say is just apply for loans, and I'm like, I can do that myself.
Like, what did I pay you all this money for just to tell me something I already know? And even with applying for loans, there are certain loans that some people can qualify for, or either other, ways to, gain capital to get your business started, that, you just got to take the time to research and find out what that is. Because like you said, there are a lot of people that are sharks that will charge you just because you came in a room to breathe. So we want to make sure that we help people, and I really love that. And kind of on that same vein, I just want to switch gears just kind of briefly and talk about the name, Bigger Than Me. So like, where did that concept come up, or what does that actually mean to you, or why that as a name?
I am really big on names. My legal name is Kisha, and I hate my name.
Such a cute name, right? Kisha, we love that.
And it's growing on me. I'm liking Kisha because I'm liking who Kisha is turning out to be.
She's awesome.
I
love her.
With names, I always want them to mean something. My children have meaningful names, and so if I'm doing business, it's my baby. My business is my baby, so I want my business to have a name that I can be proud of. I was so afraid about it for a long time. I asked my husband, "This don't sound ghetto, do it?" No, if you like the name, you like the name. I'm just like, oh Lord.
Yeah, names are important though. For real.
So that's why the abbreviation is always usable and it's legally documented.
Right.
So, Bigger Than Me, I named it that because anything that I do is not just limited to what I do. The benefits are not just for me. The benefits are for my family and for the people that I come in contact with. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to spread my knowledge. I want to be able to help as many people as I can. Mm-hmm. And everything in life, people think that you're doing things just on a small plane, but you never know who's looking
That is
or
so true.
admiring you.
That is so true.
So I just say it's bigger than me. Anything I do, when I talk to people, when I help them with their businesses, or just say everyday life, you don't. Being a hairstylist, I was a part-time therapist. And you just don't understand. Sometimes people will come in and talk to you about business, but they end up talking about life.
Yeah, that's true.
So I really feel like anything I do is kind of like my ministry.
Yeah.
I'm not a preacher, though. Don't watch what I do.
Come on.
So everything I do is bigger. It's bigger than me.
Yeah, and I love that you said that, because again, here at TTwT, that is like my passion, and trying to again like tie those two things together. I always say and feel that God has given us gifts and talents to give to the people. We are servants as Christians. Let's say we say Christians are followers of Christ, which is true, but in that we are also servants for Christ as well. And I always like to think about the parable of the talents, the servants given the talents, right? And we know that in terms of talents, it's not just the talents that we have, the abilities and the skills as we think of the word in our English language, but talents in those times we're talking about money. And we understand that the bigger part of the lesson that Jesus was trying to teach was about being able to get a return on your investment. Yes. And that's anything. It could be something tangible like money, or it could be your gifts that he gives us, our talents that he gives us. So I really am really strong about talking to people about understanding in business, especially that your business, again, like you said, is your ministry. It might not always feel like that, or we might think of ministry as being in the pulpit on a Sunday and grabbing your ear and talking about God, feel it in my shundalo, right? That's all good, but again, God has given us all many different talents and abilities that he's expecting a return on investment on. And that's, if he gives us a ministry to serve others through our business, he's expecting a return on that. So, I love that you said that is your ministry, because again, what are you in business for? It can't always just be about the money, because money's going to come, money's going to go. But really, people in business, we are servants. We provide a product, a service, or something that we give to others that should be able to better their life in some shape, form, or fashion. Right? Would you agree with that?
Yes, and if you're a true entrepreneur, you can have a month where you are booming, and then next month is zero.
Negative zero.
Like, never mind.
Right.
You're right. You have to have something else that keep you going. If you're just in business and like, I'm just gonna do this business so I can make money. Yeah, it's not gonna work out. Yeah.
So let's have a transparent moment here, because I know, like, even sometimes we've all hit those bumps in the roads, or hit those detours, as we like to call them in life, where you just really want to give up and throw in the towel. And I really do appreciate this moment. And if I could just be transparent for a moment and not try to cry right now, I think I'm aging and getting emotionally hormonal. But even for the show coming back on the air, it's been a struggle for me. If I could just be real and transparent right now, just even in this moment, because life happens and it gets hard. There are so many times that I've been wanting to give up and just throw it all away. And today was one of those days too. Me and God, we fight every day. And he's like, Tanya, you know what you need to do today? Go out there and serve the people. And I'm just like, oh man, do I have to today? Why can't somebody else do that? But I'm learning that that's truly one of the foundational pieces of how what God has gifted you to do. Oftentimes in business we talk about purpose, and people wonder, what is it that I'm supposed to do? And it's not always easy to pinpoint that, especially for many of us that, like in the story, the parable, some he gave 5, 2, and 1, and I definitely didn't want to be like the one that went and buried my talent, you know.
Yeah.
I like to think that I'm one of the service that he gave 5, because again, I do multiple things, and you know, every time, you know, God's put something in my hand, I make it my business to give him a return on that investment and give it back. But also, like the good word says, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. And sometimes that means that requirement comes from your core. You know, it takes a lot out of you to stay focused, to stay consistent, especially in business, because, you know, business is hard. You know, it's not always easy to go find your clients or go find your niche, go to the right marketing, you know, locations and networking events. It's a lot to just get it out there, and it can get discouraging sometimes. You know, as entrepreneurs, we don't sleep. The mind never sleeps. It's constantly going and going and going, and sometimes all that going can make you feel like you're going crazy, right? But you know, I like to think, you know, even thinking back to your brand, I love the name of it, because again, at the end of the day, we got to understand that our mission, our business is bigger than me. Yeah. It's bigger than us, you know. So we got to stay the course. We got to stay encouraged. And we got to keep giving the people what they deserve, right? That's right. So, you know, I just want to kind of jump back for a minute. And, you know, I often think about, you know, the beginning stages. You know, I know that you mentioned that you previously were a hairstylist. You know, you've been holding out. I couldn't.
No,
some
I'm
inches
retired.
And stuff and all that, right? But I want to think back to young Kisha. Okay. I always like to go back and think about things like that, because again, you know, I always like to tell people, when you're, you know, looking to define your purpose or what it is you're supposed to be doing in life, even in business, God always kind of gives you those whispers, you know, even from a youth. And we don't necessarily always understand the visions that he gives us, or the dreams that he gives us, or just the things that kind of intertwine in our life to say, hey, you know, take a look at this, or hey, there's a need there and you need to go be a servant there, or you need to create in this space. We don't always see it until we see it. So thinking back, as far as probably you can remember, at what point and what stage of your life did you realize that, hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now?
Ooh. I have different times in my life. I am one of those people who is always thinking of a master plan. I've been an entrepreneur since I was in high school. I was the girl with the suitcase selling chips and juices and candy out of
the schoolyard candy lady.
That's what I was doing. So I've always been an entrepreneur now. As far as I knew, I did not want to, not necessarily always work for someone because of how I had been treated. I've been working since I was 16. So I worked for a corporation when I was 16, and I was like, I don't like how they treat people. So I knew I always wanted to be able to have my own business, and I can treat people better and treat people right. So that's something that I've always tried to do, to be in any situation. I want to be able to help people. Yeah. I want to be able to treat people right, no matter who they are, how they look, what they got going on. And throughout my life, I've been able to encounter a lot of people in different situations, with different illnesses, different life struggles, just people that don't always look like you. So I think the Lord equipped me with this to be able to just deal with anybody. Being from where I am from.
Where you from, girl?
South Memphis.
South Memphis.
Okay. South Memphis, Whitehaven, East Memphis. As I grew up, I've had different, I guess, aspects on life. I've seen it all. I've seen it in every situation possibly that you gutter to uppity or bougie, what people call it now. Because my son swears I'm bougie right now. My husband say I'm bougie too. I don't know where they get it from.
I don't know. I know Kisha from the block. You know, gutter teacher, right? No, just kidding.
But I can remember a time when I moved to East Memphis and they would call me Ghetto Barbie Doll.
Ghetto Barbie Doll.
Yeah, so When I tell you that, going from that to now my son thinking I'm bullshit, I've had to transition in life, and that comes with learning different people, seeing different things, not always paying attention to my surroundings. But as you get older, you're like, okay, I don't have to be this, and I don't have to do that. Right. I can be who I want to be. Right. I can be who I need to be. Yeah. I'm an onion. Peel me. You might get a different person. So, yeah, I've always wanted to help people my whole life.
That's cool. So you've been kind of in the entrepreneur since high school, and you knew that you just wanted to help people in whatever capacity. And here you are taking it a step higher, just showing that no matter what, it's bigger than you, bigger than me, bigger than me.
It's bigger than me.
So, Kisha, if somebody wanted to, take a part of your services that you offer, and again, you offer many things. Again, tell the audience one more time the different services that your company offers, and how can they contact you?
We offer virtual mailbox services, notary service, registered agent services, proper formation of businesses. One thing I did not mention, we also have a content studio. That's where we are recording from now.
Yes.
And we will soon have a co-working space. And to stay up to date on everything that we offer, you can go to BTMBS.com. Bigger than Memphis Business Solutions.com. BTMBS.com. And you can find me on social media. BTMBS1, Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we definitely do appreciate you sharing your time with us on today. And before we get ready to close out today, I often like to go back and just say, if you could give one piece of advice to our audience, but more particularly, let's say our younger audience, those that, when I say younger, I don't necessarily just mean like age younger, but maybe for those that are younger and just starting to get into entrepreneurship, or just now starting to actually start their businesses. If there is a small piece of advice, a little sip of inspiration and tea that you can share with them, what would it be?
Get started before you start. That's number one.
Get started before you start.
As soon as the thought comes, you get to running. You start figuring out things. And you don't have to be what nobody else say you are, what you were yesterday, what you were last night. You can wake up in the morning and reinvent who you want to be. And you can become that person. Just got to take the steps.
I like that. So that was get started before you get started.
Yeah.
And say it again, the other two.
You do not have to be what anybody thinks you are.
Gotcha.
You don't have to be who you were yesterday or last night. You can always change who you want to be.
Yeah. That was one of the biggest things for myself as an entrepreneur. I had this pivotal point in my life, and those that know me can probably see that transition. I've been in business for a really long time. Probably since high school for sure, but most definitely since early college. I was in business and didn't even realize or even understand the concept of business. It was just like, hey, come to this presentation, and next thing you know, we all got our business kits and we're out here trying to solicit sales, right? But it became a point. It was a pivotal point in my life that I'll never forget, and I'm really grateful to God, because again, as life happened, transitions happen. I gave my life to Christ, and obviously that was a change for me from, Tanya from the block,
I'm still Kisha from the block after I got my life to Christ. It took me a minute. It was like, all right, you said you was this, now you show. So,
Yeah, and again, that whole dynamic was different and new for me.
Yes.
I mean, I could still be that girl when I need to, but trying not to, go there. But I remember distinctively having that pivotal point where, it just got to a point where, because especially in church, or you have so many expectations to be kind of like this cookie cutter type of person. And I did that because I didn't know any better and I was young and just didn't know any better. So for a long time I did that. And not to say that that was bad or that was wrong. It was just a moment in space of my life. But I'll never forget the moment when I began to pivot. And, I was at a women's empowerment event in Atlanta. And I had the opportunity to do things different than my regular norm with other women from different walks of life, different cultures, just a whole different experience that was just, kind of like new to me. And it was like an aha moment in my life. And I remember physically transitioning and not like homosexual, none of that, but just like appearance wise, you know what I'm saying? Because again, you have expectations as church girl,
Yeah.
especially a church girl that was a reformed club girl, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest, being transparent, right? There was a transition, and it's like it's a thin line between this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always afraid to get too close back to that line, if you understand what I'm saying. And so I kind of feared a lot of things, and I kind of stayed in this cookie cutter type of persona. But then when the pivot came, I remember being at this event, and it was at that moment that I realized, you know what, all this time I was trying to be what somebody else wanted me to be, and I wasn't allowed to be who God truly made me to be.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I realized that, I'm not just Tanya from the block, or I'm not just Sister Tanya from the church. I am this being that God has created for a purpose and time to be able to minister, to serve a certain people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like with every business or every ministry, God has assigned us a certain people to perform or to give those services to. Everything ain't for everybody. And I had to realize that, sometimes in business, as you probably know, like, okay, like you got a notary service. Well, I got one too. We're not in competition.
No.
You have people that you have to serve. Just like I do.
I have to compete with myself. I'm not competing with anybody
else. You cannot. And and that's the thing that we have to come to terms with sometimes.
Yes.
Again, not feeling like we're in this spirit of compete, because again, if God gives you a business idea or a ministry, it's because you're called to a certain people that needs the goods or services that you have, and it's not going to be a shortage of it.
No.
It's just not. You just got to go find the people that God has assigned to you. So I just really appreciate God for just being God for that moment in my life, just having that pivotal point and not trying to be what everybody else wanted me to be. And, again, I mentioned that because in your tips that you were leaving with us, that could be a big fail. Like, okay, I see this big XYZ company. I need to be like X, Y, and Z. Well, first of all, you don't have the capital to be like, business X, Y, and Z. You're not called to the people that X, Y, and Z business is called to, but stay in your lane. Stay where you're supposed to be, and
it may
gotta
not
give
be
the increase.
It may not be that you will never get to that point, but it may be some steps that you have to take in your life to get to that
absolutely.
point. So who you are at this moment, it may not be for you, but who's to say?
Yeah.
Down the line, it may be for you.
Absolutely. It just might be. You never know who you can be until you be who you're supposed to be, right? So, again, I appreciate those tips that you have left with us. I'm definitely taking mental note of it myself, and I'm going to keep feeding it to myself. Get started before you get started. Write stuff down. I love doing that. I'm a firm believer in affirmations and writing a vision and so on and so forth. So we definitely want to make sure that we do that. And, Ms. Kisha, we just thank you for the services that you offer. Again, y'all come check her out. You heard what she offers here at BTMBS. And, this is your business solution location. So, again, we thank you for sharing with us on today. And is there any closing words before we get out of here you'd like to give to the people and the great tips you gave us?
Just thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. And again, we're always connected. So I thank you for all that you do at this beautiful studio. And again, podcasters, if you all are out there, come check out your girl. She has just what you need. So we thank you again, and we appreciate your time. Viewers, we appreciate you for tuning in on today. Please stay connected. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channels, which is on Facebook as well as Instagram, and most definitely here on YouTube. We appreciate your time and just being with here just to spill a little tea. So on that note, it doesn't matter where you go or where you'll be. Just don't forget to bring your tea, and that's total empowerment and anointing. See you next time. Take care. Hey, thank you for watching Tea Talk with Tanya. We hope that you enjoyed our show. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our social media platforms, or visit us on our website at www.ttalkwithtanya.com. We'll see you again next time. See you soon.